It's near Spain's border with France, and it's touted as the largest brothel in Europe.
Yeah.
The 33-year-old Romanian immigrant says she's proud of what she's been able to do with the money she makes. Yet she asks to conceal her identity because she knows society may not share her mindset. She's also studying and planning for a life beyond prostitution.
It's my life, it's my choice. I never do nothing that I don't want to do. This job gives me a home, opportunity to pay my study, to help my family, and to have a good life.
As we continue to look overseas at what's going on as far as the war on porn, war on anime, war on freedom of speech, we look right now, we turn over to Spain, which has been one of the big issues out there. But unlike France, people are beginning to fight back at a lot of these policies that they're trying to push. Some of these policies are coming out of the World Economic Forum. They're coming out of people activists that just basically wants to censor you. And they say, well, we have to help the people. We have to save the people. And actually, they're not saving anyone. They're pocketing the money and basically making up lies to scare you so you support them. And next thing you know, you're basically being arrested for something that you've typed online. And let me tell you something. This is not something that is a conspiracy theory. This is something that has occurred. Ask Count Dankula, who was arrested for just making a gesture, a comedy gesture, which happened to be a World War II gesture with his pug, and he was arrested and taken to jail because of it. And several other people have been. They've made jokes and they've gone to jail. There are people who've been arrested in New Zealand for speaking out on certain regulations that the government has pushed. The United Kingdom as well. United Kingdom has the thought police out there and the video game police. This is all the things that are coming forward that basically they want to push in this country, and it's coming from both sides of the aisle. There are those, when Trump meant the swamp, he didn't mean only on the left. He meant that there were those on the right as well. And this is why he was, one of the reasons why he didn't get a second term is because you had people that were that he thought to trust. He shouldn't have trusted any one of them. Because they too are part of the issue. And we've just talked about them. We've talked about them on this show. So from XBiz, let's read into this. Spanish activists, human rights groups denounce the ongoing attempt to outlaw all sex work. Now, if you haven't realized yet, prostitution is legal, has been legal for some time in Madrid. And they wanted to make it illegal again. Now, see, the problem is that when it was illegal, you had pimps and traffickers and stuff like that. The ones that are working in the legal sense when it became legal were independents. We didn't have the issues with the pimps. I mean, there were still pimps out there, but basically the rules and regulations were able to force them out of the range in most of the cities. Spanish sex workers, including adult producers, performers, continue to denounce the attempt by the coalition government led by socialist Pedro Sanchez to outlaw all forms of commercial sex, starting with the controversial law that has been deemed dangerous by human rights activists. A group of sex workers carrying red umbrellas, many of them wearing blank white masks to conceal their identities, demonstrated before the Congress de los Diplomatos, which is the House of Representatives, and denounced Sanchez coalition government Ministry of Equity, Irene Montero from the Progressive Podemos party, for her campaign to abolish all sex work. A spokesman for la Plataforma de las Personas Afectados por la Abolición de la Prostitución, which is basically the abolishment of prostitution, which participated in the demonstrations, mocked Montero as a lady who speaks about her sexual freedom while she's trying to curtail ours. Montero added, doesn't represent all the women. She's trying to paint us as victims of gender violence and handed us 400 euros, which is not enough to rent even one room in my apartment. A sex worker told OK Dario newspaper that they want prostitution to be legal, to pay taxes, and to have the same rights as any other workers. She added that more regulations instead of criminalization will ensure more safety for them. The Plataforma group urged the government to engage meaningful consultation with the affected sex workers, something that the Sanchez administration has refused to do in their relentless campaign to outlaw commercial sex. We would like to remind the political parties with parliamentary representatives that there is a basic principle in democracy, and that is to listen to all persons who could be affected by the laws, to know about their work environment and about the conditions in which they perform their professional activities, Plataforma said through a statement. Sex workers also challenged the fundamentals of the government's position, stating unequivocally that trafficking is not prostitution, a slogan that they displayed in large signs before the parliamentary building. That's correct.
Constitution also point to the intersection with sex trafficking. Last year, Spanish police rescued 160 victims and 32 sex traffickers were convicted. However, those figures likely don't represent the full picture in a billions of dollars a year industry. The manager of Club Paradise says government regulation would combat exploitation and improve working conditions for women.
They equate, and the thing about it is, it's a word salad. They equate porn, they equate anime and manga, prostitution with sex trafficking, human trafficking. Yes, there's human trafficking in the world. There's sex trafficking, there's child trafficking. But a lot of it doesn't end up to be in sex. Some of them end up in, we've had roundups in factories here in the United States. And these are people that were trafficked into the United States and working in regular factories illegally. So by saying like it's all sex workers and like, no, it's a lie. Earlier last week, the equality spokesperson for the minority, Basquet Nacional Paldor Nacionada Vascal Joseba Iriatera, agreed with the sex workers and lambasted the government for offering an exclusive punitive answer to a complex question that generates a wide range of social debate and that's currently undefined by the courts. Last month, a prestigious nonprofit, Human Rights Watch, published an opinion piece by Eric Kimbred, research in its lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans worker rights program, urging Spanish lawmakers to reject the dangerous law criminalizing sex work being debated in Parliament. The law in question, controversial SO-CSC, only yes is yes, consent laws promoted by the abolishes politicians of the core of the Sanchez government, which sees to criminalize all sex work, including adult productions. And this will also include modeling, lingerie, sex lingerie, and stuff like that. It'll include all that. Understand that. Research across Europe constantly shows that the laws criminalizing the purchase of sex, known as Nordic model, Kilbride wrote, increasing sex violence and harassment against sex workers while having no demonstrable effect on human trafficking or the demand for sex. Kilbride cites examples from France, Ireland, and Northern Ireland showing the failure of criminalization policies. The Spanish bill, she wrote, also threatens the right to housing, stipulating up to 4 years in prison for anyone, including other sex workers, who rents a room to facilitate the prostitution of another person, even with their consent. This could criminalize sex workers who live and work together as a safety measure. Spanish lawmakers, Kilbride advocated, should act on what is credible data consistently shows. Criminalizing clients does not make workers safe nor eliminating demand. Rather, it opens the door to further exploitation, forces sex workers to abandon security measures, and erodes the work of human rights defenders. Kilbride's statements confirm the consensus against SOCSC law among the Spain-based adult industry, as Express reported last June under the heading Independent Adult Film Producers Unite to Defend Sex Workers' Right to Consent in response to the new Spanish laws. Now, the thing is, remember this. Put this in your pipe and smoke it. Certain laws, certain regulations will never work properly, especially when the trafficking issue that some, and I mean some of these politicians are responsible for. We're seeing that with the cases that are going on here in the U.S. We're seeing some stuff from overseas. But the thing is, when you look at the actual data, criminalizing sex work, porn shoots, the porn industry, will only strengthen the illegal parts, the dark side, the pimps, the human traffickers, the child pornographers. All of those guys you will keep in business. You're not saving anyone for this. There are a lot of women out there. And you know what proves it? And here's how it proves it. You look at Instagram, you look at OnlyFans, you look at Twitch. Look at all these women and young women that are sitting there making their own money. No pimps. Some of them do have issues with their boyfriends or husbands, but most of them are independent women who are making careers for themselves in a way, modeling, pornography. They're selling themselves on there. That is their choice. Not a trafficker's choice, not a pimp's choice, their own choice. Some of them are doing better than others are doing average, some could be doing better. But again, it's their choice. By criminalizing this, you eliminate the OnlyFans, you eliminate the Instagram, you eliminate a lot of other things that you don't believe that you thought you were not going to. And there are some that are not really pornographic, but it's modeling in a sexy way. You have on Facebook, there's a group that does pinups, like 1950 pinups in a very sexy way. That would be banned under the laws in Spain. These are the same people that are pushing sex in grammar schools as education, LGBTQ, straight. They're trying to push it into the young children. They're trying to take children, get them. They say, well, you're not a boy, you're a girl, you're a girl, you're a boy. They're doing all this. And meanwhile, they're trying to eliminate everything else. Kids are not learning their ABCs. They're not learning to read, write, spell, mathematics. And the thing is, that is a danger to our society in general. I told you this. It starts with one thing and moves across. They start with the porn, they start with the prostitution, and they just move across. They criminalize everything that you want. These are the new Puritans. These are the people that they want to get rid of everything. The World Economic Forum wants to take away your speech by calling it hate speech. Misinformation. They're going to go across the board. I'm telling you this. It's happening now. This is the moment to fight. This is the moment where you tell them, no más, as I would say in Spanish, no more. No more of these stupid regulations, these stupid bills. We need to fix our countries. We need to fix our structures, our highways, our building structures, our energy grids. We need to educate our children, because basically we're headed for a generation of children that won't be able to read, write, or do anything. Our technology will just stifle. We will head back to the dark ages. So tell me in the comments below your thoughts. How you feeling about this? Because this is a danger, and you know, for those of you, you know, and I'll say this in Spanish, para todos ustedes que están en España, dígame cómo están las cosas que está pasando allá. What are the things that are happening there? What does it look like on the ground? Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.